All right, so welcome to day 6 here with us at Camp Canine. I am today here with Bulleit, and we are going to go over training versus management. So, training is teaching my dog how to do a skill. Sit, good. Down, good. Come. So, all of these are skills. Yes, good boy, good boy. Hey, good boy, yes. So that is training. I've had him learn how to use a skill. Now, management is using that skill on a day-to-day basis and learning how to use that skill to my advantage. So, for example, if somebody rings the doorbell or somebody goes and knocks at the door, a lot of our dogs will run up to the door, will start barking, will start doing, jumping up, seeing who's coming in. And it's even worse when the person comes through because now my dog is jumping on top of the person, licking them, doing all these other sorts of things that, even though it's nice, and he doesn't mean anything by it, and he is actually being a very happy boy, it doesn't mean that the behavior is wanted, right? So we're going to use that skill of sitting to have him learn that when people come through the door or people knock on the door, you don't get to do all those things. But what we fail to do is we fail to see the part that it's not. I don't. What we focus so much on what we don't want, right? So when I knock on the door or when somebody knocks on my door, I don't want my dog to run and jump and do all those other things. Instead of saying, what do I want my dog to do instead? Well, this is where that training portion comes in. I want my dog to sit, right, in a spot away from the door so he can't jump on people. So that'll be number one. Now we're going to manage this issue. So when we talk about people coming through the door and our dogs going crazy and our dogs wanting to go and visit, it's actually a couple different parts to it. The first part of the whole entire problem is maybe your dog can hear somebody coming down the road before they even get to the door, right? And so your dog already has a trigger, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, I want to go see that or I know somebody's coming. I know somebody's coming." They may spin in circles. They may Bulleit may run up and jump on the door or anything like that. But and we don't want him to do that. That's only problem number one, right? Then problem number two is the stimulus of him hearing the door knock or him hearing the Ring doorbell go off. And he's like, now I know someone is here, right? And now he's super excited. That's a secondary stimulus. Now a tertiary stimulus is going to be, now this person comes through the door and presents themselves. So now he's actually able to see it. One was hearing, second was, now the second stimulus is being able to see that person come through, right? Then the third problem is now this person comes into the house. So there's an interaction issue that goes on there. So there are like 3 to 4 separate problems that we have to address singularly before we can have even somebody come through the door, right? So we have to manage this particular issue. The way that we do that with the skill of sit that he's learned and the skill of place, this is just one example of that, is if somebody comes to my door, what do I want him to do? Well, I know he jumps up and does a whole bunch of crazy things by the door. So the way I manage that is I'm going to have a place cot over here on the other side. And I am going to have him every single time that somebody knocks on the door, I'm going to have him come up to his place cot and go into a sit. Come, place, sit. So now that he's on his place cot, down, down, good. I know he wants to lay down, but at home, when he's super attentive, he's probably going to be up in a sit. So being in a sit in that particular case would be a little bit better. But going back to the issue, person comes, knocks on the door, he normally goes nuts. What if I teach him that every time you hear a knock, I bring you back over here and I sit you down? And now I'm going to hold you in place. Those are things you know how to do. You know how to be in place. You know how to sit there. And if every time you get up, I am going to correct you. And I'm going to put you exactly right back into that spot before I even start stepping off to the door to open the door for the person. Now, We want to practice this before it actually becomes an issue. So when you guys are by yourselves at home, you can have somebody at the front door, the husband or the wife, ring the doorbell, hear the doorbell go off, see how he reacts. But we are going to set ourselves up for success because this is going to be almost like a Pavlovian effect, where every time he hears bell, we want him to associate it with that place. So, ring the doorbell, he goes over here. And every single time, and we're going to separate those stimuluses apart. So, we're going to start off with just the doorbell ring, have somebody ring the door, bring him over here, and Bulleit, no chewing. Bring him over to his place, have him sit in his place, and then we're going to sit there and we're going to wait. And then that person who's ringing the doorbell, guess what? They're not going to come in. They're just going to go away for about 30 or 40 seconds. After they go away for 30, 40 seconds, I can say, hey, good boy, buddy, come on. Good boy, yeah, good boy. And I can free him up again. So this is what we're doing is we're isolating those stimuluses. No one's come through the door. Nothing has escalated yet. I just want him to understand every time you hear a knock, every time you hear a doorbell equals come, place, sit. Good boy. Yes. Good sit. Good sit. So that's what I want him to associate that with, right? Then we can move on to the next part. Down. Then we can move on to the next part. Once he's become desensitized to that doorbell, and he understands that, doorbell doesn't necessarily mean somebody's coming through the door. It means I have to go sit over here. Once he's become used to that and desensitized to the doorbell itself, then we can move on to the next issue. We can have the person ring the doorbell and then open the door. So now he can see that person, and then close the door, and have him holding to that standard of just staying there, right? So they open the door. He sees the doors open. Then the next portion is that person comes in from the door, and they interact with you. This is where it turns up the volume a little bit, because normally when somebody comes to the door, that means he's going to have people paying attention to him. He's normally the star of the show, right? No, down. Good boy. Good down. Good boy. So he's normally the star of the show. We will, just like how he got up over there, you slowly go back, tell him to do whatever it is that he was supposed to be doing, whether it was the sit or the down, and you hold him accountable to that person coming through the door. A lot of the times, your dog will be so overwhelmed that they want to get up, they want to sit, they want to move past the seat. We have to show them that no matter what is happening at each different segment, your job is to always stay in that part. And that's how we manage, like using the things he knows, that's how we manage issues like this, right? So what about things like, maybe he likes to chew on shoes, or maybe he likes to go outside every single time there's a dog there and run back and forth. How can I use what he already knows to my advantage and give him a game plan? So if I see there's something that I don't want him to do, such as bothering me while I'm cooking, or bothering us while we're eating dinner, what is it, or what can I use to my advantage to teach him how to be out of the way while I'm doing something, instead of just giving the overall effect of, I wish he was just a good boy, or I want him just to be a good boy while I eat. So instead of thinking under those dimensions, you should be more thinking about, what can I have him do while I am doing X, Y, or Z? Nope. Down. Good. So just as when somebody has entered in through the building and he sees them go up, the first thing he wanted to do was go up and meet them, because he's a very classy guy and he really enjoys introducing himself to other people. However, we have to show him that these events are disconnected from what you need to be doing. The event of us eating dinner is disconnected from what you should be doing. So the more and more we think of these everyday things that are just going to make our life a little bit easier, think first, how can I use what he already knows to get him out of the way. What do I want him doing while I'm doing these things? Hey, buddy, easy. I know you're searching for a treat and you're being so good. So those are things to think about. And when you do, come back. We'll talk about those things on your next visit. And we'll see if we can't work those things out. Up, no, place, down, down. And we can see how we can use those things on your next visit to use the management portion versus the training portion and how we can use the two together. All right, and we will see you in the next video. Come, good boy, yeah, good boy, look at you, look at you.